kink erotica raise a deep legal question. New York Times.
So that is our Sharong erotic literature plug for the session.
Honey and Hot Wax.
There will be several. Honey and Hot Wax by Pelgrane Press. I want you to check it out. Hello, everyone out there on Twitch. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's Dracula Dossier campaign. I hope my audio's coming through clearly. If it's not, just let us know because we had to do some last minute changes. But we are joined by two spectacular guest stars today. The Dracula Dossier campaign is by Pelgrane Press. It is a highly improvisational mega campaign by Kenneth Haidt that explores the Dracula mythos within the context of the game Night's Black Agents, which is essentially a vampire spy thriller system. You can pick it up through some of the links that we're dropping in chat. By clicking those links, it helps support our show. We are sponsored by Pelgrane Press. They have been supporting us, making sure that we have all the resources we need to put on a good game. Speaking of a good game, the good game can't happen without this wonderful cast. We're going to start by introducing our two guests today, Steve and Jess G. So, Steve, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? This is your first time on WebDM, and let's let the audience get to know you.
Oh, I would love to. Sorry, guys, I'm very shy in the spotlight, so this is going to be very awkward. But my sorry. My name is Steve. I'm actually one of the cast members of the Asians Represent podcast. It's a podcast where we talk about Asian representation in tabletop RPGs, but also in other forms of media. It's really, really great. We have currently started a Dungeons and Dragons actual play where we've completely thrown away all the classes because all the classes are very Eurocentric and kind of built it up from scratch. It's absolutely wonderful. We're on hiatus during COVID-19, but if you want to check out the podcast and listen to our take on things like Orientalism and tabletop RPGs, definitely check it out. You can find it on anywhere you find podcasts like Spotify or iTunes. But I'm Steve. My pronouns are he, him. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
We're great to have you, and even just in the lead up to the show today, you've brought a lot of positivity, good energy, and we're grateful to have you on the show today. Also joining us is one of my podcasting partners from the Fairest of the Seasons podcast, the indefatigable, highly creative, funny friend of the show, Jess G. How you doing, Jess?
I'm embarrassed now because of everything you just said. I'm gonna go be shy over here. I'm good. Thank you so much. I'm Jess G, or go_JG in all the places. If you need to separate me from the several other cool Jessicas that are Jesses all around. But yeah, I'm on the Fairest of the Seasons, which is a awesome podcast that Grant runs. I Twitch stream a whole bunch of video games and tabletop role-playing games. We love showcasing indie games. Pretty much anything we see on itch.io, it looks interesting, we're gonna play it. So that's pretty much what I do, what we do, and I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
And they're both playing some interesting characters today that we'll introduce as we get into the game. And they're both dressed appropriately for these parts. Also, back this week, our favorite friend from across the pond, Pro Restarter. How you doing, Pro?
Hey, yeah, good to be back. Super fun stuff happened last week that kept me away. Haha, no. But no, I'm glad to be here with all these wonderful people. Super happy to be playing with such great and talented guests as well. I love all of that stuff. And coming to get back in and just cause some chaos and maybe kill a party member. What? I'm joking, Jisoo. What? I'm probably studying.
Goodness gracious. The world wasn't ready until it was. Back, if you watched our Thursday prep stream, you were graced by the presence of our good friend Jess, Burst of Hope from the Twitter. Jess, who are you playing today?
Today I play Jisoo, she, her pronouns, just a humble hacker / rigger of tiny tools. And yeah, I love the fact that Grant's like, hey, let's have guests that are our friends that are super awesome. And I'm not going to tell you what they're doing here. And I'm like, yes, give me these mystery characters, please.
It turns out, like, Sharong paid me $100 under the table to be like, can you just, like, have my character killed off at the beginning of episode 4? And then, like, we bring in some guest stars, and then I just leave the show and we just drop them into my camera. No. But as always, it's good to play with you, and Jess's notes were extremely helpful to help prepare this session, so do check out that prep stream on WebDM Plays on YouTube, where you can see how we take player notes and use them to craft an upcoming session. Also joining us, looking super sharp, enjoyer of egg sandwiches, Sharong Biswas, award-winning independent game designer. Hi, Sharong. How are you?
Hey, I'm Sharon Biswas. Thank you, Grant, for another exciting week. What I presume will be another exciting week. I said I'm Sharon Biswas. I'm a game designer, writer, and artist in Manhattan, where it's very rainy today, and I just made a very simple egg and cheddar sandwich. And sometimes I wonder why I spend 4 hours making dinner when I will enjoy a very simple egg and cheddar sandwich. And then I remember I like being fancy in front of my friends and telling them all the things I cooked. So that's why I make 4-hour dinners. But yeah.
And I want you to know that he wore the most adorable apron while he made it in front of us. But it was great.
It was an apron that I got when I used to work at the Met. We got it on double employee discount. It is based off like a French painting. It is very cool. Usually I only wear the apron and nothing else while cooking, but I had stream people on, so I put some clothes on because I'm foreign.
So I didn't want to say anything, but I was like you got the apron on, that's cute, but there's another level that's cuter. But I was like, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on this one.
I'm foreign, don't worry.
When last we left these agents, by the way, I'm Grant. I use he, him, or they, them pronouns. I'm the producer for WebDM's Twitch channel and an independent game designer for about 9 different publishers at this point in time. And I signed 6 NDAs this week, and I might die from the work. But I'll try to live. I'll do my best. I'm pretty sure I will. I can manage it. When last we left our player characters, they were within the National Institute of Earth Physics in Romania. They had learned that a variety of earthquakes had been occurring in various locations of Romania, and that this institute had been financing archaeological digs into vampiric ruins. Our players attacked one of those dig sites, assassinating all of the villainous members of the opposition force known as Operation Edom, that are an organization looking to control the dark menace Dracula and use Dracula to serve their purposes. Alas, the heat got too intense and our players needed to lay low for a while. While doing that, they learned they had obtained in their possession an ancient grimoire known as the Dragon Noir, the Black Dragon, which is a textbook that Dracula himself studied in the Devil's School of Dark Arts, the Scholomance, which they're not too sure exactly what that means, since the evidence points to Dracula's origins might come elsewhere than Christian mythology or things of that nature. And so it was that our players decided to pursue the lead and go to the National Institute of Earth Physics, where Jisoo encountered an individual known as Elvis, a Duke of Edom, a high-ranking member of the enemy organization, who said he is willing to offer her a deal to lower the heat on them. And our session begins today, not there, but to answer the question of what happened to our good friend Daquan, who was not available to journey with them. Something happened before they could take their shot, assassinating the Romanian sorceress Karja. So we're going to cut the camera back in time. We're going to rewind and find out what happened to Daquan. So Daquan, you were preparing to take the shot. You had perfect positioning. You had set your sights to assassinate the sorceress. But at that moment, you heard a lumbering sound behind you and a bone-chilling howl of a creature that was closing in on you. What do you do?
I think as this howl goes out, Daquan was about to take the shot with their heavy sniper rifle. They were up near the tree, and they hear this. They don't look back. All they say to themselves is, "Oh shit!" And they just start running in a direction. They drop their sniper rifle because it's just going to slow them down because it's big and bulky, and they start going towards the car. And then as they're running, they're just thinking to themselves, "Fuck, cannot run it. Shit, can't fight it. It's too strong. What do I do? Think."
It is that moment he begins to feel on the back of his neck the heat of the breath of the creature. It towers over him in size. It is a bipedal creature covered from head to toe in thick, matted hair. It smells like a cesspool in a prison basement that is malfunctioning. It howls with great force and takes a swipe at Daquan with its massive claws. One who was trained in the occult arts would most likely consider it a werewolf. Daquan, I'm going to need you to make an athletics check. It's going to be a difficulty 6 to not get hit by this thing.
Can I spend 6 points to succeed?
Damn straight you can. So Daquan spends some points and expertly evades the werewolf that is closing in on him. It bares its fangs at you. Its claws are positioned to kill. What do you do?
As its claws reek out as I'm running, I tumble forward, doing a barrel roll, and I roll on my shoulder and turn around. And as I do, from my inner pocket, I take out this long, silvery hunting knife that's curved. I loosen my tie. Well, there are worse ways to go, I guess.
As the werewolf prepares to pounce, you have an opportunity to stab it in its heart with your silvered blade. You may make a weapons roll to hit it. It's going to be a difficulty 6.
Can I spend 6 points to do it?
Damn straight you can. And you pierce it in the heart. As it falls to the ground, its form begins to reduce in size. Its flesh becomes cold. The hair falls off of it and turns to dark ash or gray ash that sort of spreads across the earth below. It's covered in tattoos that resemble that of the Ruvari Jagani Romanian mafia that is currently at war with the other party members below. In the distance of the trees, you see a light, and there is a massive explosion at the dig site below. The individual that approaches you has a familiar face. This individual is known as Leandro. And Leandro is a network asset in the area that had been positioned should anything go wrong with the operation. Leandro is a member of your network, and your network specifically.
Okay.
And he mumbles to you, he says, "Let's get you to my safe house till it's okay for you to poke your head up. I think the Big D is going to come down hard on this." For the audience, the Big D is Dracula T. Lily, nicknamed Dracula the Big D. So the Big D is going to come down hard on you.
Daquan just stands up, kind of wipes the blade. Fine. But let's make a distraction so they don't follow us. And they're gonna take the knife, and in the last episode that I was in, I set up the car to explode. I'm just going to get the knife and just kind of throw it near a trigger. And then, because it's a movie, we don't look back and it explodes.
Yeah. It's one of those things. You're walking away, it cuts to an overcranked, 240 frames per second slow-mo shot. It's like the beginning of Reservoir Dogs. You're walking, you put on your sunglasses at night, and the car explodes.
For some reason.
And then the titles drop. Episode 4. Now, You lay low for a while and you received a message. The message was from an associate of your current partner, T. This individual would be Varut. Varut, we're going to introduce you on the scene. You are going to be the individual that picks up Daquan from the safe house with instructions to get them to the to get him to the National Institute of Earth Physics. Go ahead and describe your entrance as cinematically as possible.
I think Valut kind of shows up on a motorcycle here. So a figure dressed all in black with a helmet, and I don't think Daquan can make them out. Kind of like speeds up on the scene, skids on, and without like flipping up the visor and anything, like it's just a complete stranger. But you can hear shouted, muffled but shouted, "Get on!" And then a couple languages like begin to begin going through the "get on," and it's just like a stream of it.
During the kind of like the middle point, they hop on, and they just put on the helmet, and as they slide it down, they just say, "You're late."
There's no response, just like a kind of like a humph. And I think the motorcycle there's like a revving of it, and like the back of it kind of like swerves a little bit from the power of the vehicle itself, and then it just like screeches away from the scene.
Nice. Your camera is going to cut as you're pulling up on the National Institute of Earth Physics. You would have had the opportunity to hit any supply cache on the way to maybe arm yourselves or prep yourselves. So think about some things that you might have prepared for the other party members. And at that point, we will break the tension and cut the camera to Francesca. So, also known as Frankie. So, outside the office where Elvis, Jisoo, and Dr. Miriam Salas, the head of the National Institute of Earth Physics, she comes out and her face turns on one of the aspiring PhD students that are working here at the Institute. Hello, Frankie. How are you this fine day?
Oh, I'm good. I'm really good. I'm just excited to get back into the fields. I was getting some weird readings out there. The mud volcanoes didn't go at the usual time. That's weird. But well, I don't know. I'm just excited. Although there were too many tourists. All the tourists in the way. Ugh.
Dr. Salas sets her eyes on you, and go ahead and describe yourself for the audience, how you look.
Francesca's in her late 20s. She is a PhD student. She is an absolute nerd for seismology, specifically, and actually has a bit of an American accent, but she is here studying the unique Carpathian Mountains, and the exciting cold mud vents that they have. She's athletic. She's wearing hiking boots. Which are very, very muddy, and she has a backpack full of equipment for reading everything that she's trying to study out here.
Well, Dr. Salas sets her eyes on you, and she goes, Frankie, the readings might seem weird to you now, but when you've been in this field as long as I have, you'll see that there's cycles, it's routine. Sometimes there's earthquakes, sometimes there's not. And then almost condescendingly, as if speaking to a child, she says, because it's based on the movement of the plates of the earth and the gases releasing. No, magma's what's beneath the core. Then she starts like cracking up, and you can tell that she's just messing with you. And then she bursts out laughing. She goes, Frankie, anyone starts talking to you that way here, stop them, because you're brilliant and you're smart, and I have just the job for you.
Good. I'm glad. I was worried you were about to tell me, Professor, that you were into magma before it was cool. And I mean, what geology student hasn't heard that pun before?
She starts chuckling. She goes, I think my father might have been one of the first class to come up with that. One of the original seismologist hipsters, as well as your mentor. There's another seismologist working here as well. She goes, but what I'd like you to do is go in and make sure Small Fry, and by Small Fry, you know that's code word for Elvis, the American businessman who's been poking around a lot. Make sure that Small Fry doesn't cause any issue.
Got it. Yeah. I'm sure, like, he seems fine, curious, doesn't know what he's up to, but I'm sure it's fine. I'll keep an eye on him, don't worry.
Thanks. And also, some of those younger folks that have been poking around here, that came in here, very much to do, keep an eye on them as well. I'm not even sure if they're scientists.
What? Why? I mean...
I am so offended without hearing this in character. Very offended. Anyway.
So.
Well, yeah. I could see how you would, want to claim to be a scientist even if you weren't. It's basically the coolest thing you could be.
And so it goes down at that point that you're invited to enter the room with Jisoo and Elvis. Elvis holds up his hands, though, and just says, just one moment. And with that, we're going to sort of dolly the camera over. We're going to pull it over on wheels and turn it around and say, Jisoo, I need to know what it's going to take to get you out of my hair. Because you've been causing a lot of problems on multiple continents now, multiple countries, for a few years. And specifically, your face is everywhere now. We can make that go away, but I have a feeling that wouldn't be enough. That would be the common courtesy. That would be like offering you something cold to drink. Jisoo, I need to know what it's going to take to make you all go away.
You keep telling me that it is me causing the trouble, but wouldn't it be you causing the trouble?
Impossible. Throws like a dashing smile and is just like, I don't cause trouble, Jisoo. I simply do as I'm told, as you do, as you feel prompted to do. I'll bring up a picture of Elvis for the chat. What?
Why are you even here? Studying Earth physics?
No.
Exactly.
We have lost some property that we need recovered. And I was hoping Dr. Solace could help us recover it. But she tried, and that person didn't come back.
Okay, so are we being attacked by the same thing? Or are you working for them?
Working for who? Says, tugging almost like tongue-in-cheek.
Just coincidentally, you know about my picture and why my picture is there. You know I was going to be here.
I actually did not know you were going to be here. You are what we'd call a fortuitous event.
Good. I am fortuitous.
Like a four-leaf clover, a lucky charm. So here's the way it works. It can go well for you, and he produces an ace of hearts from his sleeve, or it can go poor from you. He pulls out an ace of spades that has a bullet hole through it.
Does this work on other people? Is this supposed to impress me?
I practice all week to do this Tenkai palm grip, and he kind of makes the cards go away. Are you done talking tough?
What exactly do you want me to not do?
First off, you've got to stop poking around the big D. He's taken. Second
By
off,
who?
this guy.
You don't look like you could take on the big D.
No, I just introduce him to people that can handle it.
Huh. Okay.
I work for others.
Clearly. So you pawn off the big D to people who can handle it.
No, that's one way to look at it, but I'd look at it this way. We direct Dracula at things that need to be taken care of. Right now, the world is on the brink of nuclear war. It's on the brink of terror, perpetual human slavery. There's a lot of bad things happening in the
obviously.
world.
Politics, blah, blah, blah. All that thing.
And
the world's
Dracula
ending.
takes care of that for us.
And
you
you
just gotta
think-
steer him that way.
Oh, you think you are steering Dracula.
100%.
Uh-huh, and it's not Dracula steering you?
Why would Dracula be steering me?
Why would he flip Antal's psychologist? Why would he put my picture out in the world?
Oh, Dracula didn't put your picture out in the world. We did that. I know nothing about Antal.
So you're posing as Interpol to put heat on me
Yeah,
for
you blew
trying
up-
to save Olivia?
You killed 12 of my friends, he says with an accusing glare. They're dead.
Did I, though?
It was either you or your friend Daquan.
Friend debatable. Acquaintance maybe. Valued associate absolutely.
So, we're going to do a timeout out of character for a second. So,
Yep.
at any point, anyone else wants to come into the scene at this point?
I was just gonna
you're
ask that. Does Jisoo feel threatened or feel like things are not going well or anything?
I'm irritated. This guy is so full of himself. And I'm like, cool. I just need to figure out what exactly, there's no way Jisoo is going to back off the
Yeah.
Dracula situation. And if that's what he's asking, I need a second person.
Like,
to...
kind of want to
Okay.
spend some sense trouble points because Jisoo hasn't rendezvoused at the moment, at the time we were supposed to, and I kind of want to burst in and grab this guy in like a headlock and be like, "Who are you?"
All right. So here's how it works. You come in. Antal comes in as they mention you. At that point, since Antal runs in, Frankie can go in if they want. Now, I have to, full disclosure, you are now going to be engaging one of the Dukes of Edom in hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
That
Point for Jisoo. So I because a bunch of us came in here together. Then she's going missing. We know it's risky, so I'm really worried.
All right. So come in, and here's how it's going to work. There's going to be quick initiative, and so I need you to essentially roll a d6.
Yeah. So my cherry is that in initiative I get to use sense trouble because I have a sense trouble of 8.
Okay, I would say as well, just understand he has the same cherry as you in this situation. It's one of these things where we might want to just make a straight die roll.
I'm gonna spend 3 points.
Okay. He's gonna go ahead and spend 5 points.
Okay.
So
Oh.
do we tie? I'm gonna let you go. We'll say you win the tie.
Okay, sure. And I'm going to I'm gonna in one go, I'm gonna kick the door shut behind us and then grab him in a headlock and an arm lock, like a Krav Maga body lock. I don't know if those exist. Let's say they exist. And hold him so that he can't move or do anything is the aim. It's not as much hurt him, So should I make a hand-to-hand roll?
Yes.
Okay, so I have my 10 hand-to-hands. How many points should I spend? No, slash first, right? Slash R.
Ooh.
All right. He's going to attempt to move out of the way and dodge you.
Okay.
You got him.
So I kick the door with one leg, and then the same leg snakes out and sweeps, because I'm like really flexible, whatever. Snakes back around and sweeps his legs under him, and as he falls, I grab him in this like whatever arm lock, which I can't even imagine. But I grab him in this like arm lock and neck lock.
Yeah. You've got him. And what he does is he reaches for his knife to stab you. Or at least put you in a position where you feel it touching your organ. He doesn't want to kill you, especially not here,
Okay,
because
perfect.
that would mean murder. And then
Is
you'd
his knife digging into me?
well,
Like, is it touching? I can feel it now.
we're going to see. So he's making a roll. If you want to try to like resist and like CQC the knife away from him, go ahead and make another roll.
I want to try and press at his wrist so he drops the knife.
Okay, but understand right now you're doing a defensive motion. It's
Okay.
you may not be in control.
Sure. So what do I've never done this before.
So go ahead and do a hand to hand, and
Okay.
let's see if you beat a 6.
Damn.
You don't. So essentially, he has it. So and I'm gonna say it's like this. Fictionally, it's essentially just, it's in your kidney if he presses, and he has the position. He just says, "Let go of me. I let go of you. If something happens to me, remember, there's 30 armed guards downstairs. They're gonna murder everyone in here. We don't
And
do
I,
that."
and I say, first off, I don't know who you are. Second off, there are 2 of us and 1 of you. If you stab me, my associate will destroy your esophagus. Third, who are you and why are you threatening my associate?
I'm not threatening your associate.
Appreciate it. It's okay. Why don't we stop the male posturing and let each other go?
Elvis and Antal smooch. No.
I was gonna say, I feel like this is the moment where like Frankie comes in, but it's like that anime thing where like they enter into the room and they're like they have like a book in front, so they don't even see the tension of what's happening, and they kind of just like wander into the room like, okay, so I heard there were some new scientists here that needed to come out to the field. Just let me put some stuff down, and then when you're ready, we can go.
And of course, the first thing that goes into my head is, oh my god, now do I have to attack her?
Civilian. Okay, so you're busy with Elvis, and I like sidle over because I imagine this office isn't that large, and I look at unnamed Frankie, and I'm like, "Excuse me."
Oh, hi. Are you the ones that wanted to go out into the field?
I always want to go out to the field, but not at this moment.
Let's cut the camera downstairs. Varut and Daquan have arrived. They pulled up. Go ahead and talk about any sort of. It would have been like a 4 days trip, and this is like 2 weeks later from the explosions. Go ahead and talk about any socializing your characters would have done on the road or the way up. Anything you wanted to share about yourselves. And here's what I'd like to hear. I'd like both of you to answer the question. So. Describe one thing you revealed about yourself to the other person, one thing you did to earn their trust, and then answer the question whether or not you trust them now. So we'll go Daquan, and then we'll go Varut. So what's one thing you would have revealed to Varut on the way?
I think as we would have been going a few days, Farut would have saw that they have a sketchbook with them, and as they have passed a number of interesting architectural sites, you would have saw that they would have very detailedly, very skillfully kind of drew it up, expert detail.
Wow. I love that. I think Beru has like on the road, not sketch, but they have like a notebook, and you can see that Beru goes back to like a single page, and I think Daquan has probably like seen the page. There's like nothing secret about it, but it matches up very very nicely with how Valu kind of like mumbles the same names over and over again in his sleep, and Gabrielle, Lucas, Emma, Chloe come up over and over again. And I'm gonna say that Valu kind of revealed that they are dead. They're gone, super gone. And Valu carries a scar on his left hand, but hasn't revealed much more than that. Like the scar is a reminder that he could have done more, and he's looking for some kind of restitution, some kind of retribution for this. And Valu's energy is like angry and disgruntled. It's hot.
One thing, how do you pronounce your character's name? Faru?
So I'm mispronouncing it. So I speak Quebecois French, which is considered garbage by a lot of people. But Valu has like a T at the end that I cannot pronounce because I'm not very proficient in it. But it's like a soft R with like a very soft, subtle T at the end of it.
Faru. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it.
No, I found myself in the same situation when I was trying to teach myself how to sing Last Christmas by in French. But and I apologize for interrupting, Pro. But if I may, there's a second question, and I want to change the way I ask this question. I want to rephrase it as, what about Farut led you to trust him?
I think it was that. So the names and the scar. So I think as that was kind of gone on, they would have told you that they also had that same situation happen to them. They had a company that they had trained and knew, and they had lost a bunch of people that they couldn't do anything about. So that even though it's very standard in the field, it's never good.
Yeah. I think even over a couple of days, I don't think Valu kind of like reveals anything more clearly. Like he's very close to the chest, but there's an unspoken trust there, to be friendly, to be allies, but not to reveal kind of like the source of scars, so as it were, literally and figuratively. Excellent.
And I think that kind of answers the final question about the level of trust and respect as you both approach the National Institute of Earth Physics. And as you come in through the front door and in the front desk, there's these two Joker idiot security guards there. For those that watched the last episode, you know exactly who we're talking about. But what sort of disguises or cover have you put on to convince them that you're supposed to be here? And either of you can answer at either time.
No, go for it, Pro. Go for it.
I was gonna say Daquan is posing as like an inspector for the institute to make sure everything's up to code, and everything is kind of being done properly so they can have potentially full reign.
I think Valu kind of like understands the play here and has like also taken on like the inspector gaze. Maybe he has put on like a tie or kind of like put on a little bit of perfume, something to signify that he is well-to-do, despite the fact that he doesn't really have that much money left.
I'd buy it for you.
When you come through, they take a look at the two of you. They're like, "Oh, you're with the petroleum company, aren't you?" Like they're instantly just like brought in. They're like, "You're with that gas company, right?"
Yes.
All right. Yeah. You're expected upstairs at Dr. Salas. You can go right to her office, which where everyone else is at right now.
Can I just say that these like two buff, dangerously looking people are just wearing these like nice suits and we're like, yeah, we're inspectors. Hello.
Look,
it's the power of looking great.
I'm, short, squatty, crooked, plump Grant Ellis. It's just like, yeah, I'm just do what you need. By the way, here's my online dating profiles. In case you want to take a peek.
Take my card.
See if
So to like to pepper the scene a little bit here, we talked about how like supplies be like taken up on the road and what have you. I like to imagine that at least Valud has like 2 duffel bags worth of just stuff, and it's just like walking up with it. You know, Inspector duffel bags.
They're Inspector duffel bags, and it wouldn't be too unusual. This is like a scientific organization. They're used to like say bags and equipment and coming in. They're just they're probably here to do the demonstration about the new like monitoring equipment, state of the art, really technological. It would take a scientist to explain it, like that Lebanese chap that came through here that they put Antal over as a great scientist. You've got 2. You're muted.
My cover identity was French-Turkish, not
the French-Turkish chap. They're like the French-Turkish. I imagine as you come in, Frankie's there. Jisoo has sat down the 2 boys, so they're like sitting across from each other now. And they're like,
I'm like glaring daggers at him.
Sometimes when Antal grabs me, it hurts my feelings. And it's like, Antal, what do you think about it? Sometimes he needs to be grabbed. But I imagine...
Remember, I feel very protective of Jisoo, like, all the time. Even though Jisoo is more than capable of murdering people, yes. I'm always like, no, I will protect my hacker, right?
So, I love that we're 4 episodes in, and Antal has not actually seen Jisoo do anything, right? Like, you were behind the door when I was, like, jujitsuing this one buff guy. You were in a hole when I smited the sorceress. It's great. This is beautiful. Checks out.
Elvis has put it this way, and Jisoo, if you have any interpersonal points you want to spin, Elvis is willing to turn a blind eye to your Dracula investigations. Mm-hmm. He's like, this is more trouble than it's worth. They're growing up out of the ground. If anything happens to Elvis, he's not worried because there's 50 Edom there at the facility that would be like, yeah, they'll just kill everyone, move on, and the missions will continue. But he's really not that interested in messing with you all. Like he's got his own hopes and dreams.
Sure. So I know how to handle Elvis. He's sitting down, and I will approach him. I'll stand above him, and I'm gonna spend a point in flattery and spend a point in flirting.
Ooh.
And I'll look at him very close in the face, and I'll bend over and I'll say, Elvis, clearly you have your own agenda, and there seems to be some crossover with mine. You have a legacy. Edom is here, but we have the dossier. So why don't you just look away and maybe allude to where to steer away so that I don't get in the way of Edom?
So Elvis's cheeks flush in that adorable anime way as he kind of gasps and his mouth gets little and he kind of quiver backs a little bit. And
can I open the door at this point?
Yes.
Yes. He says, in order to look away, there's something I need you to do. And I will look away permanently. If you're here in the Balkans, if you're in Romania, Elvis does not know you are here. As Daquan comes through the door, his head turns slowly. He looks at Varut, looks at Daquan. He nods, and he looks at Jisoo for approval, almost as if he can keep speaking as Daquan comes through the door with Varut.
I quirk my eyebrow at Varut, and I'm like, it's fine.
And I think there's like a moment of just like, and Valu says kind of like under his breath like, maintenant il est à 5.
And then typical American, he goes, come see, come saw, just like that, just same voice, arrivederci, and then he gets out of there. He just goes to Italian. No, he looks. He doesn't respond. He's a little too sly for that. He kind of leans into Jisoo and very quietly goes, "There's an earthquake device that's not functioning properly anymore. We sent a team to get it back. We sent Agent Atreyu," and every 80s kid's like, "Atreyu!" Because never-ending story reference.
Story.
Yeah.
Mikael Under.
We sent Atreyu into the field, into the Carpathian Mountains, to retrieve it. Atreyu hasn't come back. Atreyu's not one of ours. He's one of yours. He's a rogue. We were making a deal with him. The name Atreyu resonates with Varut. You know, they were a good individual. You know, safe, cautious, down to earth. Had your back in several tight situations. Atreyu has not come back. I need your assistance.
In the device or getting Atreyu?
Both would be great. We need the device recovered. If it's malfunctioning, it's going to cause earthquakes to go off in the Carpathian Mountains. We could, ignite a volcano.
That's not really what you're worried about, is it?
As he says this, Daquan's just going to speak up and just look at everyone.
Yeah.
See the
Welcome
civvy
back.
that's there. And just say, what's going on?
The only thing I can't answer is why this scientist is here. I'm like, just another day, obviously, Daquan. Just chilling with the Edam's best, finest, Mr. Elvis over here. And I'm sorry, what was your name again?
I'm Frankie. I mean, she looks at Elvis like I'm supposed to be watching him, but I was also told everyone needed to go out.
Oh,
Dr. Mariam sent you.
Yes.
Elvis goes, Dr. Francesca Collins is the
Yes, please
finest...
call me Frankie, though.
Yes, doctor. Is the finest navigator, Dr. Solace says, at finding their way through the Carpathian Mountains. And Frankie, he says, lowering, or rather using the preferred language that you would have Elvis use. Frankie's the one that can get you to the device. It's difficult to track these mountains. They're treacherous. They're probably riddled with, well, wolves and other dangers. And it's a long, boring 3-day trip.
Hardly boring. There's a lot going on in these mountains. They're very exciting. You know, Transylvania has some extremely unique geological features. It's very exciting.
And Antal, Jisoo and Pro, who now know him well, can see Antal's left eye twitching. He got PTSD last time that is unresolved because he has not been able to go to his touchstone, right?
Right.
And so, normally Antal is, very good at disguising and controlling himself, but he just got into a fight or fight response. There's this shady character's here, this random scientist woman is here, and his left eye is twitching, and Jisoo knows he's getting really, really antsy.
Now, while this is going on, we touched on something only one of you really knows, Atreyu, well. So I kind of want to cut into more what Varut's internal monologue would be, knowing that one of your fellow agents, someone that you've spent a lot of time with, has gone missing in the treacherous Carpathian Mountains.
Yeah, so I think Atreyu and Varut, it kind of cuts back to a scene, both of them wearing very nice, expensive suits and what have you at an airport bar. They're exchanging words, and more or less kind of like talking about nothing, but the camera shows them like continuously like looking behind them, and then it kind of like zooms in on like a target, and it's very clear that like someone is there, and maybe there's like a quick clip to like dossiers and folders. It's very clear that Veru and like Atreyu are professionals at this, and kind of together they kind of like clink their glasses down the rest of like their amber liquid, and they kind of adjust their suits and walk up to this individual, and I think together they like place a hand on both shoulders, and there's like a moment of like a tension, just like something is happening here, and then without like any words being exchanged, Veru reaches into the man's blazer, pulls out their plane ticket, rips it up, and then escorts him out of the airport into a black car.
All right. I really like that. Thank you for setting the scene.
And as the camera, I'm just taking full narrative control. Fuck it.
Yeah.
As the camera like kind of comes back, Valerie has like taken the duffel bags and like placed them on tables and what have you. They're still zipped up, but Valerie looks not like the flashback at all. He's a man who's like, he's tall. He's like 6'2". He looks to be a mix of Asian and maybe something else. But he's big, and he reaches into his pocket and he drinks from his flask. You can see that like he hasn't shaved in like days. There are bags under his eyes. What once was like a professional, it's a shell of it. And Veru just like looks at the scene, drinking from a flask, saying nothing.
Intense. So we take that energy, and Elvis looks back at Jisoo and says, "It's a 3 days trip. Is there anything else you require? We take the heat off of you. You can travel through my turf, our turf. It's the group. Without Edom observation." Sort of looks over at Daquan, who he's worried might have another silver knife ready to cut him with. Looks back at Jisoo and says, "Is there any personal favor I could provide?"
Okay, pause out of character. Jisoo, like, to let the table know, Jisoo absolutely has a personal favor to ask, but I want to make sure everyone's okay with it. So Elvis is obviously from Edom, has power in Edom, and Jisoo, aside from like being deeply invested into vampire lore and trying to figure it out anyways, the reasoning behind it is there is a long lost partner that she doesn't want to believe her partner is dead. So
Like agent partner or like romantic?
no, romantic partner.
Cha-cha-cha.
Right. So she's been gone for a few years, and she could have sworn she saw something in the night take her away. But so it's either vampires, but now she's worried that Edom knows so much. Like, who the fuck are they to know about Jisoo so much? So it's like,
Yeah, because Jisoo's really good at covering her trail and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. So she's probably about to ask Elvis about her partner. Does anyone else have any requests or issues to ask?
He's only offering you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those things where he says everyone else will have a way to get in contact with me if it requires. Little this, little that. And you notice he kind of dabbles with his phone a little. Looks like he navigates through a folder. And you feel your phone vibrate. There is a picture of your partner. You being an expert would be able to check the metadata. That photo was probably taken in the past 2 weeks.
Oh my god.
Sent to my phone. Okay, great.
Also, how does he have your phone number? I don't like these people. Burn all your phones.
It was airdropped. You got to turn that shit off, people.
You think Jisoo has an iPhone?
You're sending me pictures of Snuffleupagus.
But those like big, thick brick phones. I have a question.
Yes.
Then, since he sent this to your phone, does he just inherently know, or did you ask this? Did you ask verbally like this request?
I'm assuming, Grant, you just flash forward. Like, if I ask this is what's happening, or
Yes.
did it happen before I asked it? Because that would be trippy as fuck.
I'll let you decide.
Okay. If I didn't ask it, I would immediately drop the phone upon seeing the picture. If I do ask it and then he sends the photo, then we might have some words.
If you drop the phone and get startled, I might lunge at him again. Just saying.
Oh my god.
Let's
Okay.
have the second one where you might have some words.
Sure. Okay. So I ask him about my partner, and I see this picture. So, Dr. Frankie leads us to the mountains. We find the device and hopefully Atreyu. And we come back to here.
What I'll need you to do is there's going to be a drop site. Frankie will be able to point you out. There are many stations that NIEP has throughout Romania. You're going to need to drop it off at Station 6. It's closer than here. And if there's any heat or anyone was tracking you or the big D was looking for you, we can make sure that they don't know where you're at. We can misdirect them.
Do you have that kind of authority? We've been hounded since we left London.
Yes, I do, he says and straightens his jacket.
I look at Daquan. I look at Antal. It looks like we have our next lead.
In my head, I was like, I found all this data about the Carpathian Mountains already while finding this. We don't need this horrible man who I want to murder, but I don't say any of that.
Fast forward to the long car ride. Road trip. Everyone's in the Francesca mobile. The Frankie mobile. Frankie, describe the automobile that you are taking them on the road trip with.
It is. Oh, it is a 1994 forest green Ford Bronco. It looks like someone literally just took a pickup truck and then threw a cap on the back of it. It has so much equipment in it that when Frankie goes to open the door to let everyone in, she's just like, oh wait, hang on, and just has to like rearrange everything. It is an absolute mess. She thinks for a moment, like opening the back door, which you have to, Jess used to have a Bronco, actually slide open the tire swing bar off and then pull down the back and then lift up the top cap, and considers looking at everyone if she should ask them to sit in the little side flip down seats, but instead moves some of her equipment around to allow them to sit in the proper seats. This, you can all squish in here, right? I think I just don't hurt the equipment. It's very important. We're lucky to have it.
So, night has fallen, and we'll show the audience that they're traveling through the Carpathian Mountains in Romania, and there's sort of a...
Is that like from the book, Grant?
No, that's a licensed photo from Shutterstock.
Nice.
You're headed to a region known as Sibiu, which is a remote Romanian small town. It's by a large lake. Not many people live there. as you are pulling through, do any of you have occult studies?
Jisoo does, right?
Of course I do. I have 3.
Dr. Frankie Collins specifically has vampirology, but in brackets, only ironic pop culture.
What?
What?
Oh,
Are
we're
you-
gonna have to explore that.
Yeah, I
This
think
is the greatest game. Oh my god.
you're about to. So, you notice as you're coming down on the countryside, it sort of flashbacks. You know, if this was a movie, it would flash cut to that strange bound folio book that had the imagery of the dragon eating its own tail, that was covered in a strange silvery substance, and the pages were made out of the flesh of a reptile that does not exist in this world.
My test showed it because I am very much a real scientist and very much found this out.
And you notice that the mountain ranges you are descending into look almost identical to the illustrated mountain ranges that were found in Le Dragon Noir. Would you like to spend a point?
Yeah, is that even a question? Come on, Grant. Come now. I'm like looking off into the distance and I'm like, that's so Raven style, like flashbacks to the Dragon Noir. And I'm like,
You are headed straight for the legendary location of the Scholomance. Now, the pop culture vampirology that Frankie would know is the Scholomance is a popular instance in the World of Warcraft MMORPG.
Oh
Yeah,
my god.
Now,
Oh my fucking
now, cut back. There's rumors for those that actually track these strange vampires that there's rumors that the modern day Scholomance uses MMO chat functionality to teach each other actual dark arts and pass sorceress spells in the fictional game space of the online world. However, outside of the World of Warcraft, you are actually headed to the actual Scholomance.
It's a multi-day trip, right?
Yes, it's 3 days, so this would be the first day.
I make a point to sit next to Jisoo because I'm still feeling very like upset and like all this and yeah, I still haven't had a chance to talk to someone and he's like, we're going on this mission with this mysterious thing which might be the enemy we're trying to like defeat, who we like blew up, and then lightning from the sky and explosions next to me still happen. And also, where the hell was Daquan all this time? Like, where the hell was he? What was he doing? Antal is not happy. His left eye is twitching. He has a thermos full of coffee next to him that he is very noisily drinking. Yeah.
It's great, and it's intense. And
I have a question for
Yes.
Frankie. Frankie, on the first night, Varu smokes a cigarette in the car. Does anything? Did she react? Is she cool with that?
She slams on the brake.
I was gonna say, does Marut light it without asking?
Oh, 100%. Just like a cigarette out.
And okay, I just need to mention there's only 2 doors on this. So she gets out of the driver's seat, pushes the seat forward, which is how you access the back seat, and actually probably having dealt with a lot of geology, her hands are actually somewhat like canvassy anyway, so she just puts her whole hand around your cigarette and puts it out in her fist and throws it out. And is just like, not around the equipment.
Nailed.
Antal, in a brief moment, rolls his eyes at the obvious Quebecois French accent.
I love it.
It's like, of course.
do any of you have the notice skill?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Nope, I don't.
Daquan? Large
I
pack of
believe-
wolves.
No.
coming up over the hill. And they are running much faster than wolves typically run.
We saw wolf tracks and we heard howls when that weird unnatural storm appeared, right? When we tried to escape the dig site, right?
100%.
Yeah, we noticed, like wolves in Romanian is Ruvigari.
Yeah, and we read it in the book exactly that there are all these wolf stuff.
Yeah, I also have a point of notice. So I'm like, ooh, that's not fun.
We need to go.
So
To the devil school?
Away from the wolves.
Frankie, you're going to make a driving check. So
Okay.
the way this works is you either have points you can roll, or points you can add to your roll, or you just roll 1d6 straight. But this is essentially, you have 5 points in driving, looking at each character sheet, so you can spend as many as you want. The difficulty here is 4.
Okay. Can I use 3, I guess? And
Yep.
then I'll...
3 and then roll your die, and that'll be enough to get you over.
Okay, let's...
Hey!
There you go.
Describe how when the wolves come and you're like, they're always in these mountains. Why are you shook?
These wolves. Oh
This
my
casual
God.
doctor is like, oh, hi, yeah, no big deal.
We're in the mountains of Transylvania. This is totally normal, y'all. Just gets back in the car, all kind of huffy from what just happened, not even caring about the wolves, and then just from a full stop, just foot down, takes us out.
Great. That's wonderful. And
And then when Antal does that slight, I am surprised but impressed by this person look that he always does to T. You see him briefly do that to the driver, to Francesca. I mean,
brilliant. On the morning of the third day, and we'll bring up a picture of this. The group, essentially, Frankie, you have the data recovery investigative skill, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I have data recovery, and then it lists a whole bunch of specific skills: seismic surveys, topography, satellite imagery, etc.
Okay. You know that you're getting close to the region in the mountains where you will, where the malfunctioning device that Elvis told Jisoo about is. You're starting to pick up those readings. If you'd like to spend a point and you only have one in the data recovery, I'll give you a little more information.
Yes, please. I'd like to spend that.
There's also an unusual amount of toxic volcanic bacteria that's known to be in this area. So people want to use caution when they enter. Now, we're not saying you have to come in fully dressed in hazmat suits, but they're going to want to be careful what they touch, or if they lean on rocks or things of that nature.
Okay, so we are getting to the right area. We're almost there. My readings are showing that things are a little bit overactive, so when we'll get there, you'll know, because it kind of just looks... Well, it's kind of barren because nothing can grow there because it's so acidic and poisonous. And it might be especially so right now. I'm not sure why, but yeah, just be really careful. Don't touch anything. If you hear any bubbling, kind of move in the other direction. Just,
Toxic?
Yes. I mean, it's very interesting. Every vent site has a different combination of gases, and but mostly they are methane. So you will notice by the smell. But yeah, everything's everything's toxic. So
hearing that, Declan just kind of gets the bag and swirls it around. I'd like to pay a point in preparedness to get some rebreathers, so that then we don't need to breathe in anything if any gaseous kind of stuff happens.
So the difficulty will be 3 on the dice. You've spent 1 point. Go ahead and roll a dice, and we'll see what you got.
Here's where I roll a 2. All right. Let's get it done. Boop. D6. Go.
Nice.
I just made it.
Nice.
Brilliant. So, and if you could double check to make sure you have your 3D dice turned on in your automatic roll. Just double check. I didn't see it show up on my side, but it might also be my roll.
There, it's just a little slow.
It's just slow.
It's just slow.
It's sleepy. It's tired.
I've been on the road for 3 days. Like we're all like a little beat.
I mean, it did barely make it, so.
Yeah.
So-
And Tal already drank all the coffee. There's none left for the dice.
Yeah, he's getting very crazy.
Everyone has breathers and gloves and long sleeves if they want, and long pants. We'll say there's just kind of some PPE that's been provided. Pulling up on the screen for the chat and the viewers on YouTube and Twitch, this is the region they're in, Sibiu in Romania, and they are actually coming up on a very similar lake.
So pretty, you guys.
That's the thing I learned about this game when I was looking up. I was just like, oh, it's Dracula. It'll be spooky. It'll look like, a movie from the 50s. Everything will be black and white. No, I want to go on a vacation there.
All these places, yeah.
I was like, this is beautiful. It's a shame there's werewolves that'll kill you in this.
Dracula to me is all about the horror that lies within beauty.
Oh.
Somebody
I love it.
clip that. That was delicious.
The real Dracula was the friends we made along the way. Colin in
No,
the chat, I
Grant,
think.
stop it. Stop. Don't encourage Colin.
For the trailer for the show, make sure you have that line, the horror that lies within the beauty.
Now, there is a city there, like a far remote resort city, if you wanted to go to that city before heading off into the mountains. But there's also the mountains themselves where the malfunctioning device is. But I'm going to leave it up to you to tell me where you want to go.
We should set up a base in the city. Antal's not a country boy, wilderness boy. We should set up a place in the city to retreat to, just like we did with the mining people. Right? We went into that village or whatever. We should,
Yeah, should do that.
I will look, Jisoo will look at Frankie and be like, Doctor, you've studied here. You're aware of this land, and it smells like a cow's arse, right? So, have you
Most
been
people
here?
find it smells like eggs, but that's interesting.
That was cute. Do you have a test site, or are you aware of? Do you have friends in the city?
We do have several locations where we already have some things set up. Grant, the one we're going to specifically, there's already some set up there. No, we haven't.
The place you're headed to, is there is almost nothing there that would be beneficial to you, except what they know is a device was placed there by Edom, which is the enemy, rival, villainous organization that they're in conflict with. That device is malfunctioning, but in the city itself, that's typically where the geologists, volcanologists, seismologists all hang out. It's a pretty nice resort town, too.
Grant, I have another question.
Yes.
So from Beirut's perspective, could this be succeeded with a smash and grab just for the seismic device? Could we just kick down the door and get this done in a day, or is it really a multi-day expedition here?
It'll probably take you most of the day to climb up the mountains, but honestly, get in. It's a lot quicker going downhill than it is going up. So it's you just get up in there, and should be no trouble. That said, do any of you have any vampirology?
Frankie! I have 2. I like real vampirology.
You might run into a number of mobs that could be above the group's level in the Skolomance instance. No, it's...
Wow. I love that.
Yeah.
So on my sheet, I have a tick on vampirology. Is that what is that?
Yeah, so you can spend a point. So here's what you would know. There's two things. This place is either real or a fake. your guess would be you won't know until you get there. Might be good to use some caution, but anything that is thrown your way, you can handle. I mean, one of the strongest Dukes of Edom's got untalled earlier, and if that's the big boss, whatever's out here, it's probably nothing much. In fact, you kind of have a secret hope that your friend Atreyu is just chilling out in the resort town for a few days. Got sent by a Duke of Edom and is like, on their dime, I'm going to hit the hot springs. I'm going to enjoy myself before I go up into those hills and fetch their doomsday device.
Antal, on the other hand, is having flashbacks of like crawling critters suddenly materializing in his clothes and an explosion of lightning, and he's shivering, being like, what the hell are we going to face up there?
I also have a question as well. So is the area, I know it's like it's toxic kind of blasted land, is it corrosive to vehicles or anything like that? Because we're going to need to kind of get in pretty in and out fast.
Most of it's
kind of
not.
Terrain,
It's rocky and rugged, hot terrain, just jagged, sharp rocks. The lake itself is not that pleasant. It stinks. But as far as like the volcanic toxic bacteria, Frankie would probably be able to identify any obvious portions of it, and it's usually only deep in the caves.
Okay. Daquan is going to suggest that they hit the town just for so they can acquire a vehicle to get on the kind of terrain quick and easy, because their current vehicle isn't to their standard. And,
oh no! Like 94 Ford Broncos.
And they say this blatantly.
Oh.
Why would you say that about poor Bruce?
Valu like echoes it. It's like, nope, Daquan's right. We're not well equipped in this vehicle. Let's go get some supplies. Let's make this quick.
All right.
Y'all are harsh. This is a.
He's got 4x4.
I
mean, I need to get out of the car and engage it, but it works.
I heard that shift moan quite a lot as you were moving.
Yeah, it doesn't connect so well anymore, but it gets there. You just need to kind of grind it in.
Antal loudly sips the remnant of his coffee.
Look, Doctor, your equipment is valuable. Let's grab a burner.
Oh. Okay, that's true. If my equipment, are you expecting a lot of trouble? Okay, all right, yeah. Okay, I'll just take what I need. I mean, most of my stuff is mobile anyway, and like starts hitching a backpack.
Yeah.
Frankie doesn't know that this isn't a scientific mission.
And I think that like says under his breath, he's like, I'm always ready for danger.
Ooh,
Fucking badass.
I love it.
Nice.
So, setting us up, some questions I'm going to ask. Are you going to take two vehicles or one vehicle up there? Because you could always split into two vehicles just so you have them. But if you're taking one, or let me know what kind of vehicle you're going to procure to be.
I was going to ask that. Can any of us pilot a helicopter?
You wouldn't be able to get one out here.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Like, can we get a helicopter?
What about those search and rescue ones?
You might be able to make a call in, but they'll have to come out from far.
That requires giving a favor and giving my location.
You're like 3 days away from the nearest, like,
Yeah, I don't know if you have
way
time
out
for that.
there.
No. Just a kind of like a full out terrain, like heavy duty vehicle, I think. One that's easily maneuverable for me.
A battle tank. Got it.
So what would it take
I
to
can
get
drive
multiple
one.
vehicles?
We would do either a preparedness roll. Also, the party is loaded with cash in a variety of currencies right now. They just need to say, this is what I'd like to drive or take. Automobiles and cars and vehicles are pretty easy to come by. I mean, the resort town might not have the best choices, but you could probably offer literally a stack of bills to someone and they will sell you their car. And there's probably some nice ones because it's a movie. Batmobile, things like that.
I'd probably just do that. Get like the thing that I can get that would fit the terrain. I don't me as a
So
player,
like a
don't-
Humvee.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You know,
I was like
so
a Lamborghini. Damn, you fancy.
that wouldn't
Lambo.
really be good there.
Can we also procure some mountain bikes in case we need to make solo,
I was actually thinking that as well.
You can do that, and you can get a bike rack, put them on there. It's like a family vacation. Yeah. So it's like, me and the fam, we're headed up.
Oh,
to
we can be those British tourists all over again and put those accents on.
Yeah.
Mm,
We're gonna be sensitive to our fellow British players.
are you?
So we're gonna.
Do you think we would have time to refresh my non-investigative abilities?
All abilities that have not been spent this session will be refreshed.
Mhm.
All of your
Okay.
general abilities. If you spent any investigation points, they haven't refreshed right now. But there's been enough time. You've been resting for days.
So for example, some of my hand-to-hand and sense trouble that I spent earlier
All of
would
your
not...
generals back.
Oh, all
your
the generals get back. Okay, great.
Okay, cool.
When you let me know when you would like to head up to the location that Frankie has pinpointed as
Do we have some time, does the team think, to ask around? We don't know anything about this place apart from there might be a machine there, right? So can we spend time in town to ask around about anything going on up
what would
there?
you like to
Yeah.
here at the resort town,
Yeah.
there's not much going on. And they're like, no, like people run those hills, and this is just a place to come and relax. But they say most people come here for, they have a nice art museum. People here are very religious. There's rumors that if you cross the bridge into the city, and if you speak a lie, and have ever spoken a lie in your life, you might die when you cross the bridge. And yeah, they're just telling you like local legends.
You'll die.
You'll die. You'll die. If you speak a falsehood at that bridge, there's a very good chance that you'll die. But there's also an exhibit in the Museum of Hunting Weapons and Trophies of a vampire hunting kit.
I would love to check that out if there's time. And I know,
Like
I
a
know,
tourist kit?
I know Daquan likes weapons, but I'm curious about this vampire hunting thing so close to the supposed Skullomance. Like, that's not unusual at all.
So, if you'd like, you can get access to
With the stakes.
the museum. Luke's eye's not with you all. I was gonna say, because Luke's eye would get you in no problem, and probably get you into the preservation room and things like that.
No. I tried to grab him by the scruff, but he went off with tea.
He just toddles off.
Was he the one who went to Cambridge?
Yes, the very same.
We don't need him.
Out of character, Jess found Luke's eye referenced in the Dracula Dossier, like the unredacted book, and was like, gosh, this worm has been hanging out with us.
Yeah.
They mentioned his many television appearances. Sharong, it's not too much to get there, and there's a variety of wild game trophies and things like that, and there is on display under glass a small satchel. It's a Gladstone bag. Looks like it's made out of ox hide, really thick animal leather, and it's about yay big, the size of a basketball almost. And faded on the front, it's A.V.H. That's what it says.
D-H?
A.V.H.
Oh,
initials.
A-V-H. Harker. H is Harker, right? I'm almost certain. I will have to check the dossier.
A.V.H.
.v.h on the vamp. Does the wall text say anything about what's in the kit?
It says that this bag belonged to a certain Van Helsing.
Oh, Van Helsing!
In the novel, this is supposedly Van Helsing's vampire hunting kit.
$25.99.
What a steal!
What a steal!
Can I ask if I see a wandering museum educator? Can I ask them what's in that kit? I'm so, and I mean, I'm disguised self. I'm like, oh, what's in that kit? I'm so curious. Ooh.
And the curator, she has chestnut brown hair, light green eyes, a beautiful tanned complexion with several freckles dotting her face. And she explains that with vampires are typically they're scared of holy objects, so inside the kit is the sign of a cross. There are a number of vials of powdered flowers of garlic. There is a stake and a mallet to drive into the vampire's heart. For doing so will kill the vampire, this undead creature. And she explains that there are also 6 silver bullets, 1 for each chamber in the revolver.
Oh, thank you. And I remember that Jisoo did poison the vampire with holy water. So, interesting. Okay, so nothing like wild though. So I'm like, thank you so much, and I leave. Can I? Would Jisoo have come with me to the museum if I asked her to?
If you asked,
Yeah.
right now Jisoo's like
thinking-
very one and done. So
Yeah,
like if you asked, I'll go.
Tal is feeling very camaraderie like with Jisoo, especially because his solace is gone.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Transferring his like, who do I trust, and I think it's becoming Jisoo right now. So I pointed out to Jisoo, and I'm like, okay, and then we can leave because there's not much more.
Well, she just thanks you so much for showing interest in the exhibit. We don't get many travelers. Where are you from? She asks.
So I'm doing my scientist cover still, right? My French-Turkish scientist. So I tell her, oh, I'm visiting Romania from Paris. I'm checking out, and I'm working at the institute for a research project.
She says that she absolutely loves Paris. She went there once when she was a girl on vacation with her family, and it's just a marvelous city. Really, it's a jewel of all of Europe. But she does say, if you ever want to come back, the museum is open. This exhibit will be here for the next month. And she looks forward to seeing you again.
And I said thank you very much.
The next month, is this exhibit travels?
Yes, there's rumors that someone is coming to collect it. We have it on loan from a wealthy individual.
So normally museums display when something's on loan. In this case, does it say who it's on loan from, or is it anonymous?
J.Q. Harker.
Wait, is that because there are multiple?
Not
Harkers?
the same.
No.
Not the dead one. Okay.
No.
So as we walk in code, I'm like telling G, like in real life, I'm telling Jisoo like I would love a pint of chocolate ice cream from that wonderful thing. When I actually mean we need to steal that kit.
Oh, honey, of course.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. We're going to cut scene. If there's nothing else anyone wants to do in town, and we want to go up to the smoky, steamy, crag-ridden entryway to the cave that claims to be the school where the devil teaches the dark arts, that is what we shall do.
The dark arts?
Yes.
As you approach the road. Wait, Varut, can you describe the vehicle that is better than the 94 Bronco? Potentially. Allegedly better.
So Valut has taken a Jeep vehicle and has spent the majority of the day pulling off doors and roofs and what have you. Has just like created a vehicle that is incredibly light but with like the power of a Jeep. Comfortably seats 4, but the back seat is full of equipment right now, and it's standard military equipment. So we're looking at ammunition, guns, and explosives.
And mountain bikes.
There are no mountain bikes.
There's only Heelys, those little shoes kids had to wheel. No Heelys. All right. We're gonna cut. So, do any of you have cryptography?
I thought I did. Nope.
Well, no Jisoo or Daquan has cryptography.
No.
Oddly, no. That might be a respec later on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, you're approaching a road, and there's glyphs on it. However, do any of you speak or read Greek?
I'm out of my languages, guys.
Sure.
Or Daquan does. And do any of you have a point in archaeology? Because this is a tag
Yes.
team.
I do have an archaeology. Yes. And I read Latin, so I know maybe a word of Greek or two, from the language contact.
You come to the road that leads up to the cave, which narrows, and there is a stone slab in front of the road. And an archaeologist notice there are unusual dust formations that have formed on the front of this slab, and if you do a little dusting, you can clear it off. And underneath, there are Greek letters, and it speaks a word. Partaro. The one knowing Greek knows that this refers to Tartarus, the ancient hell of torture and giant monsters.
That's welcoming.
As you head up the mountain, you do come to the large smoke-filled cave. There is a gas of fumes coming out of it. I assume everyone is wearing their personal protective equipment. And there is an opening to the cave that looks dark, foreboding, and suspicious. Question: who's going in first, and what manner are you going in?
Would Frankie want to go in first?
I mean, if I have a question, Grant. Is this so you said I've never been here before, but are there is there local lore about this place?
Oh, not local. Why did I turn on the fight music? Sorry.
Everyone just descends into fighting amongst themselves. Tense.
It represents our internal conflict.
So there's no local lore or legends. What you do know is there is an unusual amount of toxic activity, potentially radioactive activity. This isn't a pleasant place to be or safe, and you feel for a prolonged expedition here, you would need to spend more time.
Okay. Well, even just knowing that, and the mix of knowing that about the area, and also the readings I've gotten and stuff like that, I think Frankie would want to go in first, just because from her perspective, she's here to keep everyone else safe from this stuff. So just to scope it out and test, just to make sure we're not walking into anything too dangerous.
That goes forward. I think they want to put their arm out and just kind of say, "I'll go with you, just in case."
Okay, yeah, that's a great idea. Sometimes I get a little bit too focused on the equipment, and I miss a step or something like that. So having an extra set of eyes would be really great.
Then I take out a handgun.
I would say too, you notice the way Daquan moves. That's no scientist. He's an investigator.
I just took out a handgun right in front of you.
Oh, Oh, you're worried about the wolves? Okay. Yeah,
Yes, that's why I'm putting a silence around. Yes.
Yeah, I mean just be careful. There's a lot of unique geological formations. Okay.
You notice, as you approach the cave, what are you using for light source? Lamps or anything like that?
Oh yeah, the kind that's like literally it's just on a headband, and then there's like, and it has a little prop. It sits on your head like this, and then it has a tilty thing so that you can actually turn it like up and down. And it has because I have one of these, it has like different modes. So like specifically flipping through the modes to make sure you have like a bit of a wide array for what we're going in, because we're kind of looking close but wide right now at the entrance at least, until we want to like pinpoint something.
All right, and we're gonna hold for Jisoo just a little bit and delay. I want to know who, aside from Jisoo, would be following close behind, or sort of is anyone staying back to watch near the vehicles? It's very remote. There's no one behind or visible for miles. But I'm trying to get a feel for the group and their thoughts as they approach.
I'd be following close behind Jisoo, because if she gets into a fight, I will save her.
I think Valu talks to Daquan, maybe not like with words, but like as Daquan is like, "Hey, like we're going to this," but he has like an expression of like, "Hey," and then like kind of like points to his belt and the weapons that he has, and just like it's an open-ended kind of like body language, just like an expression,
Kind of like a confirmation if we're going loud or quiet, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they just kind of use that kind of military language, and they just kind of nod, and they kind of beckon you to come up front with them.
Yeah.
As you approach and enter the cave, and the light of the headlamp seems to hit the wall, you notice hanging in triptych, there are 3. It looks like almost serpents with blades coming out where they would have scales. There is a strange statue of a just reaching, grasping hand, twisted, and it looks as though you approach it, it's coming towards you, both the serpents and the hand. Daquan, you have the art history skills, don't you?
Yes, I do.
The moment before you take panic, you realize this is an optical illusion trick done with painting. This is 2-dimensional. It's up against the wall.
Trompe-l'oeil.
Yep.
Trompe-l'oeil.
Trompe-l'oeil. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And
That's a poor rendition.
yes.
I love how we just shade to everything.
This is the
All of
best
us are
group.
so shady.
This is the best group. I can't wait till you all finally meet Dracula and you're like, oh, I thought you'd be taller. And like but somewhere
I can't get that. Did you go to Cambridge? It's
great. Alas, the room itself, as you go deeper towards the wall, Frankie, you begin to feel like you're almost losing your footing, and you're starting to feel dizzy as time and space seem to wrap around you. In the blink of the eye, all of you sort of feel this sensation of time and space warping your very surrounding as you pass through a false wall and find yourself in a stone room with 12 chairs in the circle, just a large crack in the cave floor in the middle, and then 5 pairs of glowing eyes appear on the walls behind you, and large figures about 8 feet in height, just below the height of a basketball hoop, start lumbering out. You all will have the initiative, but the protectors of the Scholomance the Cerniati are going to defend their master's school. And you are in combat, my friends.
Okay. Wow. Antal is getting flashbacks to like his like horrible rats again, and he is not happy. He's very damaged right now, you guys. He's not stable. He hasn't seen his psychiatrist or whatever.
Oh,
So here's the order I'd like us to go. We're just going to go around clockwise from me. So it'll go Varut, Antal, Frankie, Jisoo, Daquan, and that'll be the order. And then the Cerniati will go. Warning going into this, they are lethal, they are ferocious, they are giant size, and you can tell each of their fists is about the size of my head. And I've got a jack-o'-lantern of a head if you've met me in person. So it's like, it's okay, it's genetic. So you are it's go time. So Varut, you are on deck.
Okay, so I think so. There's 5 of them, and they're kind of like closing in on us.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a bad situation because like maybe it's not so bad. I think Balut says like to everyone like stay together, don't get split up, and caves are close quarters. I think Balut has like maybe like a submachine gun here, something that can kind of quickly like kind of spread things out and just like cause some suppression here.
All
so
right.
I think actually before that, what's the lighting like here? We have the headlight, but what else do we have?
Very dimly lit. It's almost like an otherworldly light that is coming off the form of their bodies, almost as if they are glowing both naturally and unnaturally.
Okay, so I think Valu will take the chance that like this is enough light to make something happen here, and I think Valu plays like a laydown of like bullet fire here, just like the sounds of gunfire just immediately start like ringing out.
tasty.
All right, so this is going to be a shooting check, difficulty 4 to hit, I believe.
All right, so on my character sheet, if I look at shooting, I have 6 written there. What does that mean?
That means, so the way it works is you roll a d6. If you get a 4 or higher, you hit them. But you can spend points from the shooting pool to add to your die roll. And
So
you
I
can
could
just
add
say
+3 right here. I could just do that.
100%.
Yeah,
And
so
you'll
let's
hit
just do that.
All right, so you shoot the
Nice.
Cerniati, and they are riddled with bullets. It goes just flying into them, and you notice it appears to have almost no effect. You're very clearly slowing them down and getting their attention, but most humanoids you would have shot with this would be dead instantly. It's effective, but not final. So it does 4 points of damage to 2 of them.
Meta.
Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 13, you're feeling about a 9.
Yeah, we need to get away from these things is what Antal's like senses are screaming at him, and he's having horrible flashbacks. I want to ask if I can do something unusual. Could I use my chemistry skill in a non-investigative way?
Describe what you're trying to do, because it might apply. We can tag team some skills.
Yeah, I want to throw like a smoke bomb / stink bomb thing that I've like concocted using my chemistry to try and like confuse them so we can get away from them. Because
Okay.
yeah.
I don't think a stink bomb would affect them because they are in this like horrible bubbling fart-smelling
Oh,
location.
that's true. It smells bad already.
But you might, and also it's very, very smoky in here most of the time, but you might be able to catch them off guard with bright flashes or things
Ooh,
of that
okay.
nature.
That was what I was
I would
going
actually
for.
consider this a preparedness check, so you had used your chemistry to make something in advance. So you are able to do a...
Sure. I'm gonna spend my 1 point of preparedness, and I'm gonna do that. R 1d6 plus 1. I got a 4.
All
So,
right.
yeah, so I made like a I don't know, magnesium burns really brightly, right? So I have like this magnesium compound thing that I have in this little gadgety thing I've made, and I like fling it so that it breaks and it comes into contact with like a flammable liquid and like the oxygen, and it like whoosh, I yell a warning.
Did you warn us? I was gonna say, like,
Yeah.
we about to be blind.
Yeah, I yell a warning at him. I'm like, look away. And then I like throw this and like cover. I don't dab.
Did you dab? Oh, get out.
I don't actually dab. Cover my eyes to try and yeah, and I yell at everyone to do that. So
Yeah, you call it. You shout out, eyes. Everyone knows to blink.
yeah.
And yeah, it flashes and they're bewildered for a second. So
We should get away.
they're gonna have a harder time to deal with you all. Next, Frankie, you're up. You do have your
Okay.
backpack.
So these monsters just came out. Everything's gone weird. There's monsters. Varut's just brought out like
You
a
mean
machine gun.
fascinating wildlife that hasn't yet been studied.
I mean, they are very fascinating, but I don't think we have time to like literally. Grant was describing how they're like glowing slightly, and I was like, phosphorescence. Like, I was like, but there's definitely a moment of that, but it's not. But then the second the bullets go flying, and then the magnesium burn.
Medium flare. Yeah, I just said a flashbang or something.
Yeah, you just flashbanged everything. I think like similar to like I think Antal encouraging that we get away from this. Am I able to similarly use either my survival skills or my athletics or like because I specifically have a lot of like outdoor stuff. Can I do something to try and clear our path or make it easier for us to get or harder for them? Can I like do something to blockade them while we get out or something along those lines?
So, if you have any supplies, you could try to throw it in front of them. You could also make a preparedness check. Do you have any points in preparedness? If not, you can still roll a 1d6. But
I don't think I do.
I think you might be able to like misdirect them because they're kind of blind. Like it's one of those things where you have like what we'd call the mobile duck call, where you throw a device, it lands over there, and it's like, and they're like ducks. And they go over there.
That's fun.
Yeah, I think that might be something you could have. So what I'd let you do in this situation is, let me double check to see what points you have, and we can see if we can make it quickly appropriate.
Yeah, I have. Athletics, cover, driving, hand
We
jam.
could call it a mechanics check, and it's going to be a difficulty of 2 to distract them.
Okay, I want to use both my points then, please.
You throw it. So they're blind and they're
that.
fumbling towards the noise, so they're all headed back to the corner. If you need to, open table, Varut, so you're good. And Jisoo.
Me. So Jisoo's gonna take a non-combat approach to the situation, crossing fingers. Gonna whip out her pocket mag light and flash it in the eye of the closest giant fuzzy friend, and be like, "Huh, whoa. Okay, we've intruded. We're not looking to invade this. We're just looking for a device. Whatever you're protecting, you can continue protecting. We're simply looking for a scientific device."
Okay, so...
Oh no.
There's still this. We still have a chance
they're
to get
very... Yeah.
going somewhere else. Hopefully, we'll. Yeah.
So they very much don't really understand you. Yeah, they don't really
Add
speak.
a language. Giant furry monsters. One of your
I know, right? Like grunting and occultism.
What does happen though is like, so they're distracted. They've gone off to the other direction, and what you have managed to do is cause them to figure out sort of where, what direction you're in. They're still more or less disadvantaged from being so disoriented, and they've kind of been led away from you. But they're going to Yeah, they're not happy with you trying to negotiate with them.
Yeah, we should just book it.
Let's fucking back it up then. Let's go.
Yeah, you do notice as well, Daquan, in the room, that there is a device that is most likely the same. You were shown a picture of it by the old Elvis. Yeah.
Daquan specifically, or like we all saw the device?
You all were shown pictures. I'm gonna bring it up on the screen for the audience.
Cool.
It's in the corner of this room.
Ah, fuck.
Of this room. Okay.
Yes, it's in the corner of this room. Also, over there, Daquan, there is a body slumped on the floor that it looks to be skeletal remains at this point.
Oh.
Don't let Varut over there.
Yeah. So how are they moving? Are they like moving quickly? Are they lumbering? Did they take like a big slow swing? Like how agile do they look as they're kind of like dazed with this phosphorescence?
So they have roughly the agility of an American football front lineman. They can move quick when they need to, but probably not too long, and they're focused on single small tasks at a time. They don't seem to have a great mind for tactics or
too many concussions.
Yeah.
And they're currently dazed, right, with this phosphorus light?
They're not, I wouldn't describe them dazed. They are more confused though, slightly.
Okay.
Yeah, they actually have an ability that cancels out bright lights. But the idea of a flash going off would impact their eyes.
Run! Athletics, everyone!
Daquan is going to kind of, seeing as they're kind of moving towards the different sounds going off. How far away is the device?
It's probably about 20 feet. You could get there if you wanted to.
I want to bolt over there and grab it if I can lift
You're over there, and it's not in the same corner as them. They would be, so if we were to describe it, they would be about 15 feet away from you. You're on the same side of the cave, but you're not in the same corners. If there's 4 corners of the circular room.
Daquan kind of runs over quickly, goes over to the device, holsters the pistol, and just like hooks this like big metal thing, and just like carries it out.
All right, so you head over there. It is quite large. It's heavy, but you are strong enough to pick it up. You can't really tell necessarily where it was made. It is covered in kind of strange characters, but it is very clearly not functioning or operational right now. There are some remains on the floor near it. They're garbed in nice dress. The clothes themselves have not completely deteriorated yet, but the flesh has off of the individual. Your guess, if you have any sort of diagnosis skill.
Yes!
Sharon, glancing from across the room, knows those are definitely, it's radiation burns. Like, being in here, the Cerniati probably got a hold of the individual.
Seeing this, not really understanding it, just being like, well, better than you than me, picking up this thing.
Cold-blooded.
And I will attempt to lift it up and run away.
Yeah, you start to do it. So you're starting to make off. Now they're going to get to go before you because it's their turn now. But they are disadvantaged. They would have to spend their points, which they do have. So, 2 are moving towards. Jisoo did. Oh yeah, Jisoo did the talking. So 1 is headed towards Jisoo. 2 are headed over by Daquan, and one is headed towards Varut, and one is headed towards Antal. They've taken some beatings. They are not actually going towards Frankie just yet. So let's see how they do. They're pretty tough. So the two going after Daquan.
Yeah, because I don't want to hand these things.
But you could do it, I believe.
What's your hit threshold, Daquan?
My hit threshold is 4.
How much health do you have?
8.
Let me see what these do.
You are a thickums. Damn.
Yeah, so they're gonna do a little bit of damage to you.
No.
So was our mission to retrieve or destroy this device?
Retrieve. And take it to
Retrieve.
Station 6.
Yeah.
Right.
First one hits you for
Oof.
6 points.
Okay.
Second one hits you for 4 points. You are unconscious.
No.
So Daquan
God.
gets cut, has pushed and has thrown this. Daquan's in a bad way and is currently unconscious, not dead. So Daquan drops to the ground. The other one comes up towards Varut. Hold up! It wouldn't have mattered. Your hit... I had to subtract some points from them to see if they would hit you, but your hit threshold isn't higher than 6.
Only 4. So
Yeah.
I don't know what affects it, but it's 4.
Yeah. Your athletics ability probably does.
Oh.
My hit threshold is 4 because I have some high cherry or something.
Yeah, the next one's coming after Antal. What's your hit threshold, Antal?
4. It's higher. The standard is 4.
Doesn't
right?
hit you.
Standard is 3.
Yeah, standard 3. So mine is 4.
What
Yeah.
after Jisoo?
Oh, buddy.
So you're gonna get hit, Jisoo, for
Yep.
4 points.
Fuck.
you
I'm
out?
down. Yeah, that's standard
Oh
health.
God!
I didn't.
Jisoo! I suddenly
No.
I freak out.
One goes after Varut. It's gonna miss. 'Cause
Oh,
you're-
bless.
Varut
Hit threshold is 4.
Yep.
Ooh,
So
baller.
misses. So you are all in a bad way.
Yeah.
So, essentially, we're gonna go back around to Varut, Frankie, Antal, and then Jisoo and Daquan. Essentially, your friends are down. The earthquake device is there. You're gonna have to make some calls. You might have to make the call between saving your friend, continuing to fight off the Cerniati, but the call is going to be yours.
And the device is trashed. It's not working.
It's currently been malfunctioning, and that's what Edom, the evil
But-
organization, wanted
But
you
it
to.
could theoretically be repaired. It's not like in pieces.
No, it's
Okay.
just malfunctioned.
Gotcha. I think this is very similar to like something Varu had seen like in their past, just like people dropping around him. And I think when Daquan like fell to some kind of creature, I think that was like a lot. That was very heavy for Varu to like to process here. And I think Varu like thinks on like the time Daquan and him, even like the short times spent together, like smoking cigarettes, drinking cheap whiskey, that type of thing. And I think Varu makes a bad call, a very bad tactical call, and rushes to Daquan's side. The device itself, is there like a big red button that says like press this to cause an earthquake?
It would need some fiddling, and it wouldn't cause an earthquake because of the condition it's in.
Gotcha.
But it's close, and it's one of those things though. Given a mechanics check, maybe that bad boy just needs a good whack.
So Valu has 2 in mechanics. So if I roll a d6 and add 2 to it, does
On
that
a-
like
On a 4, it will start disrupting the cave, and everyone will have to make athletics checks that are up to get out of there.
okay?
So we
Everyone's
have
unconscious, so
people who can't make athletic checks.
yeah.
Some
think-
people are going to have to get them, so you have a choice. The first is to get your footing to get them. The cave might not collapse, because that thing was in here causing earthquakes anyways.
It's very, very possible. I think Valut is like, I need a distraction. I just need like we need to like sit in the chaos and maybe we can sort it out. Because between a horrible situation and second horrible situation, we come out on top. Valut makes the mechanics check. He sees he can kick that thing back into place and cause an earthquake.
Oh God! Ah! Also, you guys, my MOS is useless here. I can't disguise my way out of these giant furry monsters.
So,
there it is.
You did it!
Woo!
You did it! It's one of those things that starts charging on. The entire Scholomance is rocking and shaking. Everyone is losing their ground. You have Daquan, and this place is no longer safe to be. Frankie, you see Jisoo down on Tall. You see Jisoo down as well.
Oh, I'm gonna rush to Jisoo. Like, no way, bitches. I'm gonna like leap off Crouching Tiger style off the like rock formations to like grab her if I need to.
Excellent. Go ahead and make an athletics check. It's gonna be a difficulty 4.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna spend 3 points then.
And you have parkour, so you can add an additional 3. So it's just like, poo, parkour through the earthquake, misty flip 720 to land by your side.
Yeah. Okay, I succeed.
All right, describe this narratively, how it looks as the world is falling apart.
So this giant like boulder thing like crashes. I like roll under it, and then I like leapfrog over another one. There's like an arch sort of thing. I like swing by it, land by Jisoo, grab her. Jisoo is like pretty small, right, as a human.
Average.
Yeah. So I grab Jisoo, and I like her legs are this, and her like head and arms are here, like around my shoulder, and I start like running with that.
All right, brilliant. How to leave something in
Exactly.
chat page.
I know, right? I was like,
Thick thighs save lives. All right, so yeah, you on Tall, you get it, and you're making your way out. Frankie, what are you going to do now? They've got the fallen comrades.
Okay, so everyone's getting out?
Yes, they're abandoning this place, it looks like.
The machine, however, is still there.
Yeah, am I able to get the machine?
It is currently...
Since like that is one thing I know we actually...
Yes!
That's
You,
one thing
based
I
on your
comprehended,
background...
and Daquan like just went down for this thing, so...
100%. And given your background, being the volcanologist, you're like... You can shut it off if you need to.
Mm-hmm.
The Cerniati are like retreating back into their hiding places. What with that?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, then as like I look up to make sure they're not coming at me, I see everyone else is getting out, and I attempt to maybe hit the pause button on this thing and take it with me, you know? Like, hold that thought, machine. Let's save it for later, please.
So, while you'll be able to get up, and you'll be able to shut it off without any problem, it's going to be an athletics check to get to it because the ground is so shaping. However, this is your home turf. You are trained to hop through these hills.
Yep.
So it's a difficulty 5 to get there. You can spend any points you want.
I'll spend all 5. I'll spend the points.
You're there.
Yeah. I like basically just like Frankie was already like climbing up on something because that's her instinct to like get away from stuff. And then she from like an this vantage point, she kind of just leaps rock to rock to rock and then like drops down, grabs it and goes.
Sorry, pro in chat. You're not dead. You're unconscious.
I'm a medic. I'll save you.
Yeah.
I'm dead. Forget me.
No, it's like all that commissioned artwork. We're all dead. Have fun, Grant Ellis.
No. The new agent is suspiciously like evil. This twin.
Raekwon, it's so great. Nice to meet you. Yes, I'm here to avenge my brother. All right.
Which one was the evil twin?
All right. So, the earthquake device now in the possession of Frankie, Antal and Varut are able to help retrieve the bodies. Now, asking the group their intentions, is the goal to get back to your
car?
vehicle and get out?
Yes. At this stage, yes.
Yeah.
As
I think Varud has like Daquan like slung over his shoulder. It's like a good way to like keep the weight over his core. And he's like, "Ne banamapa, don't abandon me. Don't give up."
oh, and you've got him. You hightail it back. I like it. It's like Varut goes running out with like Daquan in the firefighter's carry, over the shoulders like a wrestler. Antal has Jisoo like running over the threshold like a married couple. It's like the bodyguard Kevin Costner. And then Frankie is like Yogi Bear with the picnic basket holding the earthquake device running out. And
we're really good spies, okay, you guys? We're really profesh.
And with that, as you fire up the Jeep, and you're heading to part ways, and you're going to make your way to Station 6. You notice Varut and Antal looking out the back window. A mysterious, darkly robed figure. The robes are in the colors of a midnight blue. The robe is covered in silver stars, moons, and celestial emblems, just sort of floating slightly above the ground, watching from that cliffside, but not approaching as you depart. With that, after a long night's rest and suffering much hardship, the group is going to have one chance to rest up and spend some time together as you prepare to deliver the earthquake device. But I want to know sort of the conversations that happen in character as this group when you're recovering. So,
can I help? Just for narrative, can I like help by medicing them because I'm a trained medic?
100%.
I was gonna say I have points in medic too, and can I just be like, I'm not that kind of doctor, but also, yeah, okay.
So can I just say, as Antal and Frankie are treating Daquan, they will see on their torso a bunch of tattoos. And because most of you are military special forces, they are almost every major like merc company around his torso.
Interesting.
I think if we're talking about cinematics, Varud is like kind of in the back corner. No expertise in this whatsoever, but like a knowing look, but then silence.
Yeah. Well, Antal, like you can see, like he put something in his teeth and then takes out the needle and thread and like sewing and like he's good. He has 3 points in medic. He's good at this. So he's like.
So, I'm curious to know Frankie's internal monologue behind all of this, just because it's like it's been an exciting day for a scientist. Vampire hunters, irradiated giants, wizards, dark magicians of Solomon in the hills. The Solomonari. What's going on through Frankie's head?
I think it's literally help first, think later still until everyone is recovered, because she does have that medic stuff. People do get injured out in the field, but not from monsters. So it's like the fixing, like take care of everyone. It's like, oh yeah, they got hit by monsters. What the hell? Like and this earthquake device, that's like everyone knew, that's pretend. That's not real stuff. Like we've all heard, of Tesla's earthquake device. This doesn't make this is all made up. Why am I surrounded by made up stuff right now?
Harrison Ford turns the corner and goes, "It's all true. All of it. Dracula, the Jedi, No, sorry.
Chewbacca's.
All right, Harrison Ford does not show up. But if Harrison would like to play Dracula Dossier with us, I'm sure we'll be in contact with your agent. Besides, it's a fun game to play. And with that, here's sort of where it's going to work fictionally. Now, I want to know, Varut, there might be a conversation that happens between you, Daquan, and Antal. That was Atreyu's body in that cave. Your friend and your agent. When you part ways, what final words would you have for these agents? And are you seeking vengeance? Are you seeking restitution? Or perhaps resolution? What is going on through Varut's mind?
So yeah, we're talking about Atreyu and things like that. And I think Varut has like a very cold, very professional demeanor about this. And Varut says, before this mission even began, I knew he was, as you say, dead as dog meat. I had zero hope we'd find my friend Atreyu alive and well. This was a retrieval mission. We got the machine. Mission accomplished.
Frankie, you receive a message from Dr. Miriam Salas that's recalling you back to NIEP. Any final words for the agents as you depart?
I don't know what the schist is going on here, but please stay safe out there. You know, it's I like just like look down, draw them a map to Station 6. Like, avoid these. Go this way. It's safer. Yeah, it was nice meeting you all. Just stay safe. Bye.
Proving not, because not only did you do that defensive driving, you also sewed together my friend with me. So
Now,
Daquan would hand both of them like a duffel bag full of money.
oh, I
What?
that'll take care of your student loans, or at least half of them. But bump.
Oh,
student, what student loans?
Hey, hey.
yeah. Oh my god, this is like, I don't have to apply for grants ever again.
Now fund your own research. I love that.
Oh
my
gosh. And at that moment, Jisoo, you see you have a text message from Elvis. Do you
Yeah, I
answer?
like smelling salted you awake because you're now sewed up, and then that's the first thing you see.
Oh, courtesy to like give me a fucking number this time. Okay, I'll open it up.
So, you open it up. It's a pic message. It's a photo. It's Elvis! And he is bound. He is tied. There's a gun placed on his head. And a winky emoji that says, not ever. Not ever, ever. And then the next follow-up is that same picture of your partner that Elvis sent you.
Oh no.
And it just says, we can't find her, but he'll pay for it. And with that, we cut to black on the episode.
Oh, Grant, I hate you so much, but I love you. Ugh.
Love that. And then today's credits have with guest stars Steve and
Yeah,
Jess.
so let's give it up for
Woo!
Jess and Steve coming out.
Yeah.
Short notice,
Awesome.
representing
Thank you.
thank you so much, Steve and Jess, for playing with us. You know, you were both a delight for embracing a new station or a new system on a new Twitch channel that you haven't played on before, with players you might be meeting for the first time. But thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you for having us. I in recent memory, I think some of my most meaningful, cherished memories are like joining new games with new systems with new people and just like really diving into stuff that I don't know what to expect in. It's just like the yes let's kind of situation, and thank you for giving me yet another opportunity just to like be in the moment. So
well, it was great to have you and Jess as well. You know, as always, I've enjoyed playing with you in one shots here and there, and in our Fairest of the Seasons podcast. But you know, when our players asked if you could play, I was like 100%. I was like, maybe I should check if everyone's okay with Jess. And Strong said, well, let's see. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone's immediately accepted, and you know, thank you so much. So let's go around, and everyone in cast, let us know where we can find each other online and what we're up to these days. Let's start with our guest Steve. So Steve, tell us where we can find you.
Yet more spotlight. Oh, thank you so much. The easiest way to find me is on Twitter. You can find me at DM Steve. That's DEEM Steve. I'm one of the cast members of Asians Represent, like I talked about. But hey, if you didn't know, I'm a best-selling RPG writer as of like 3 weeks ago. You can find me in the unbreakablerpg.com, the Unbreakable Anthology, all Asian creators writing Asian stories, #own voices. It is a great project. And hey, if you are an Asian creator out there and you want to get involved in volume 2, go to unbreakablerpg.com, scroll to the bottom, put down your name. Let's represent ourselves. Let's get our voices out there, and let's just like really share our stories.
100%. I'm gonna drop a link to that. I can't paste. Someone drop a link to Unbreakable in chat. I'm gonna copy. I can't paste. It's on the DMs Guild. Search for Unbreakable #1. I have a bunch of friends that have contributed to this anthology, and it is deservedly a bestseller because it's one of the best books out there on the DMs Guild right now. I can say that wholeheartedly. Known to a lot of the creators for years, and they're just the best. Thank you so much for dropping that in chat. Also, Sharong.
So, like I said, I'm Sharong Biswas. Friend me on Twitter at Sharong Biswas, which is my full name. I have no middle name because I'm foreign. Yeah, so that's where I am. I'm doing a bunch of interesting projects, so keep an eye out. If you're interested in D&D, the D&D Red Nose Day thing, I have a part to play in that, so more announcements will be coming there. And as Grant mentioned earlier, keep an eye out for Honey and Hot Wax, an anthology of erotic art games. No Proscenium just did a great review of one of the games that was run as an interactive theater piece. Right now, Intramersive Theater is running Cleo Yunsu Davis's Pass the Sugar Please as a online interactive theater piece. It is about having awkward post-BDSM conversations during a tea party. So do check that out. Check out Pelgrane, both for Nice Black Agent and Honey and Hot Wax. And yeah, thank you for supporting independent game designers.
Oh gosh, I should add that as an add-on to my Good Society sessions where we have our Regency BDSM tea parties.
Yeah, the bonus episode is all of you are actually playing Pass the Sugar Please. I love it.
I love that. And playing Francesco/Frankie, Jess, where can we find you online? How was today for you?
This was amazing. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much for the invite to play this. Like, I had no idea how this game would go, but it was absolutely amazing. You are all awesome. Grant, you are a wonderful storyteller. All of you are amazing at your characters and roleplay and everything. This was so much heckin' fun. It's a very cool system. I'm Jess. You can find me at go_JG in most of the places, on Twitter, on Twitch, where I stream. If you like indie games, go check out my page on itch.io, where I make some very small little personal indie games. And we do stream over on my channel, Blades of the Dark, Fiasco Fridays, lots of little indie spotlights. Doing something secret with Pro right now, which they keep hinting at on Twitter, which is a ton of fun, and I can't wait till it's out there in the world. And like Grant said, the first of the seasons are Good Society podcast, which has lots of tea, but not yet that bonus content that would be very interesting.
It's got a lot of broken hearts, and it's got a lot of sad feels, and
gosh, I did not. That's another game where, like, going into it, I didn't realize how overwhelmed I was gonna be, but it's a good one, and I can't wait till all of that one's out in the world.
And executive producer for this show, Emma Lambert's in it. And I got into a fight with Emma in the last episode in character, where our two trash bag characters get into an old-timey fisticuff scrap in Regency, England. I grab her character by the scruff of the neck and call her out on all these mean letters she wrote me. But for that's for another time. Drinking from the tea. No, playing Jisoo. Jess, burst of hope.
What is happening? This was, it was so refreshing. It's so good. Like, super big thank you for Steve and Jess guesting on. It was just the flavor we needed. It felt pacing. Grant, you're amazing. You always keep the story going. It's great. It's cinematic. I love it. You can find me apparently next Friday, again on Asians Represents, because we're reading Original Oriental Adventures, and we haven't finished martial arts. So as a martial arts instructor and experienced person, I will be critiquing how we mechanize martial arts and RPGs. Between that, I think on Tuesday evening, I'm gonna do an itty bitty stream on my own channel, and me and my friend Vince, Dichotomous Prime, are just gonna chat about My Hero Academia, regular superheroes, and how normal people can be superheroes and channel in our own special goodness.
Woot woot.
And Pro, great to have you back.
Yeah.
How was
it's great
today,
to
and where
be
can we
back.
find you online?
First of all, once again, echo what everyone says here. Amazing to have both Steve and Jess here. Vibe was great. It synced in really easily. Just amazing role players. Putting on all of your things because they are amazing humans. But yes, I am Pro Restarter. You can catch me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, all over the same place. That secret thing that Jess spoke about earlier, it is a new podcast going to be coming out sometime next month. A little exclusive here. The title is called Shadow of Arcanum, and that's going to be coming out soon. So keep an eye on my Twitter for that.
Always brilliant. I've been seeing these tweets coming through, and I'm excited for it. Lastly, my name is Grant Ellis. I'm an independent content creator for tabletop role-playing games. I've done work with Monty Cook Games, Pelgrane Press, Kobold Press, a couple other publishers here and there. I am the Twitch producer for WebDM's Twitch channel. And thank you all so much for supporting the show by coming out and watching it, and by checking out the game systems we run. It kind of gives me some of the freedom to run these games and systems on the channel, and to create a space for artists to come out and play games together. So I'm very appreciative of that. But we're going, again, as always, this stream is published by, or it's sponsored by Pelgrane Press. I'm going to drop some links in chat one last time, just if you're curious about Nice Black Agents, the Dracula Dossier, or the generously donated and licensed music soundtrack. I love a publisher that creates musical scores for their games. All this music was produced by the publisher specifically for running their game, and they've allowed us to stream it with license. Check out those links. Clicking on those links does that. Also, if you are curious about the game and you want to get a discount on it, I have a code in chat for a voucher that'll take 20% off all Nice Black Agents products. Good from now till August 31st. We're supported by Pelgrane. We asked for a donation to help provide for our cast, and we're very appreciative of that. So thank you all so much for coming out. let's go ahead and share some love. There is a artist out of the Seattle area that we're going to raid. I can see that she is putting together artwork for the King is Dead role-playing game, which is a game I was a play tester for. So she's only got 2 viewers on Twitch right now, though, so let's share some love. Oh, there it is! It's interesting that photo is a royalty-free photo of Joan of Arc.
Yeah, for sure.
Such a good game.
Yeah, that's the good box set.
Yeah,
Not
I
many of
know.
those. So thank you all for coming out. Au revoir.